Hey, it's been a while since I've done a video, but I decided to come and talk about the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that just came out not too long ago. Let's talk about the good stuff first, I guess. They did the Turtles pretty good. I thought going into the movie that the Turtles would be the weakest link of the movie. That's what my biggest fear of watching this movie was. But actually, they were probably the strongest characters in the movie. Uh, they all were pretty funny. They acted as they should. Each of them was their own individual character. The action in the movie was pretty good. The scene that you see in the trailer with the them fighting on the mountain or whatever, that was probably one of the better scenes. But it doesn't make much sense. Which leads me to the bad parts. The movie doesn't make sense geographically because they go from New York City to this snow-covered mountain that's like over 1,000 feet tall because they're sliding down it for like 20 minutes, and then there's like a 300-foot cliff at the bottom. I'm pretty sure there's no mountains that big in New York State anywhere. I could be wrong, but I live in Pennsylvania, and I've been through most of New York State, and I can't think of any mountains like that. This movie had more holes in its plot than an industrial-sized brothel. It's terrible how many holes this movie has in its plot. I'm going to talk about a few minor spoilers here. They completely made a new backstory for the Turtles that makes no sense at all. In the original source material, Splinter was the pet of Hamato Yoshi, who was a ninja alongside Oroku Saki, who was later known as Shredder. So Splinter had a previous connection to Shredder and had already been exposed to the art of ninjutsu by watching his master, Hamato Yoshi. Then Shredder turned on Hamato Yoshi and killed him, thus gave Splinter a reason to hate Shredder and want to take him down. So later, when he became mutated by an accident, he had a reason to teach the Turtles the art of ninjutsu, and had already known the art of ninjutsu in order to teach them. And the reason was to eventually grow up and fight Shredder. However, in this movie, they are minor spoilers for this movie. They are lab experiments, all four of the Turtles and Splinter in the same lab. Lab experiments being performed by April O'Neil's father and this guy named Eric Sachs, who they just completely made up for this movie. And for some reason, they let a young April O'Neil come in with a camera playing reporter into this lab filled with dangerous chemicals and experiment animals, and she feeds the Turtles and names them all. Names Splinter too. And then a fire happens. I'm not going to say how or why, but she runs in and saves the Turtles and Splinter and releases them in a sewer. And then Splinter somehow teaches himself ninjutsu by watching TV and shit, and then teaches it to the Turtles for no reason at all. That makes no sense whatsoever. Another problem that people had with the Turtles before even watching the movie was they look kind of weird. But really, their look kind of grew on me a little bit. I still don't like how they look, but it's not as bad once you get used to it. However, Splinter, on the other hand, he looks like shit. He looks like a fucking reject from the island of Dr. Moreau. Shredder. Man, Shredder. Shredder's probably always been the most badass villain in all of Ninja Turtles. And they turned him into a fucking Transformer. He looks like fucking Megatron from the Michael Bay Transformers movies. Like, literally. Look at them both side by side. They look almost exactly the same. And I thought that was just going to be like the Super Shredder of this movie, and he was going to like get that outfit later. No. That's him through the whole movie. There's no character development on Shredder at all. He has no personality to him whatsoever. And his motivations for doing what he's doing boil down to money and stupidity. He has really weak motivations for what he's doing. Well, the good thing is they thought this Eric Sachs guy was going to be Shredder before the movie came out, but thankfully he wasn't. He was just some other guy that was kind of Baxter Stockman-like, but wasn't Baxter Stockman. But Shredder had nothing, no personality to him whatsoever. He was a really weak bad guy in this movie. Oh, and Megan Fox. Megan Fox can't act for shit. She literally has the same expression on her face for the first 20 minutes of the movie. Like, literally. The same expression she has when she's taken hostage by the Foot Clan is the same expression she has when she's riding her bike through the city. Same face the whole time. Until she meets giant turtles. And then her expression suddenly changes. Well, it should, because you're meeting 4 giant fucking Ninja Turtles. And Michelangelo is always hitting on April. Like, in every scene that he and April are in together, he's always hitting on her. It's kind of creepy. But Michelangelo's still funny. They took a couple characters from the cartoon, like Bern, her boss from April's boss from the cartoon. It's now Bernadette, played by Whoopi Goldberg, which that's not bad. And Vernon, who was like the cameraman or whatever in the show, he's also in this movie. But as I remember correctly, in the cartoon, Vernon was kind of an asshole, and wasn't he always trying to get April's job? Well, as in this movie, he's kind of almost the quasi love story with April, but not really. It's weird. And minor spoilers for the ending of it. Have you seen The Amazing Spider-Man? Yeah. The ending of that movie is pretty much the exact same as the ending for this movie. It's the same premise, same concept, same everything. They assume that everyone that watches this movie knows the Ninja Turtles mythology, because there's a scene where something bad's about to happen, and Raphael is just pouring his heart out and saying he's sorry for how much of a dick he always was. Although through the whole movie he really isn't much of a dick. The movie's not a complete piece of crap, but it's not very good either. Is it better than Ninja Turtles 3? It's about the same. Sorry to say. At least they did Turtles good. This movie wasn't too bad. It wasn't too good. No, it was terrible. I went into this movie having low expectations. And was it as bad as I thought it was? No. It was worse. It was far, far worse. Some people might like it. I've seen some good reviews on it, but I didn't care for it that much. So I'm gonna give it like 5, 4, 5, 4.5 out of 10. Well, have a good one. Peace.